Live from the Soaring Eagle Casino and Resort Studio in Farmington Hills, Michigan, it's the Zia Oram Show.
شد مردوثة البايد شن بلا خيون بث نهرين معمورين شلامة وحباب براسي وين كلذانا يا كلذانا يا بشرب مشمي ما دم ما بشصب يمدمي ما أمسد ليل بلم كمي كلذانا يا كلذانا يا بقيلد ما حيلي كوش مدخن دقاريلي آوا مثلو أنا خيلي كلدانا يا كلدانا يا كل ينشد أبرخ بخالة راما كلدانا يا كلدانا يا أمتي جبارة أمت خوال اللخ بسفارة مرمتش محباورة كلدانا يا كلدانا يا كلدانا يا كلدانا يا كلدانا يا كلدانا يا كلدانا
Azize Pascala John Zia Oram إلى نمبر 1 شو.
أنا ملبانة يلدا قلة قدار نشلامي قمايا تأخوني جان زي أورم وقدار نشلامي خنة زودانا الأخواتي سالم جدو وأخواتي وأخوني جان جان يلدا خوشابو تتهاوى بصيخ أمه وآي قصيدة زين أمرنا دها إلى تجان زي أورم بس وأني بتوابش معه
مقبول.
يا جان زي أورم يا قورة الزونة خاثة يا جان زي أورم يا قورة الزونة خاثة اكطلب طالو صاخوثة وبيث ملي بركاثة مريم حاسيل بابوخ مرحبة ومرطاواثة تولي أمخ كم خازنخ قورة نيخة ومكيخة اكشقلت وكياود بهديوثة بعيانة ولبخ بصيخة مرية بتهاوي أمخ وعمرخ بتاوي يريخة بس قالت كم شارتن بلوشانة بابا وساوة إيشع وتلميذ دي بقاوت سورة محكاوة كالداي كم يقريلخ لذشولة رابة وطاوة طالخ كياون هوناي يا جان زي أورم كهند إيتا كم يقرت يلباند روح دايم مريا إيل بعيانوخ بصلوثة ديمة مريم مريا إيل بعيانوخ بصلوثة ديمة مريم وكشوقنوخ بشلامه.
I'm Mario George Zoma.
This is Brooklyn Marie Hadir Yaldo.
I'm Isabella Alos.
This is Abigail Rita Hadir Yaldo.
I'm Grace Davish. Welcome to the John Zia Oram Show.
I'm Maxwell Munder Zoma. Shlama.
Shlama Maxwell. Shlama locho chawatho chatwatho. Idiu ila ruta yuchamochu. Mishit lishwa. John Zia Oram. كان قاعد أذكر خازوت ولي كمبدلن شقته بس هذا نهارك وناخا. So يو خموخو يديو وشيث بشوا إثن من دانة كبيرة ناشديان إتن بليمنتن دها لبنانيين إلى the Our Ladies of Lebanon خزيلو إلى أخوات حريسة ديلا بلبنان أنا بزاري سابر دامو إلى روتا معرخين بمريخو بديو مشوا للسر صبرا مشوا على السر بعصرته ومغذالة الشاء إلى بليمنتن إلى خبر قشيثة قشرة يام طانو وقت دوتو بكندا already كذوتو وقت دوتو وثي خاثب وينزر إلى فستيفال كبيرة كوذيلو كشاتا بأوغست مروتا والخوشابة مخديسة الديرخل دهو والتاسر تزلو ختامة beautiful أنا تريت لثخوري أنا زيان حقد جاس كذوتو كانت كاثا يمي لكر من دوخ الشمي خازوتو ورا و كاوا أمي وأنا زي لا سيزنا بيعون حقد جاس واني بيعون حقد ساندويتش يعني ساندويتش بس التابان والت مراج بان الت خاطر رومين اسكندر إلى وينزر سليم براك إلى fundraiser to Our Lady of Lebanon San Anthony Church of Leamington كودي لثمندي وإلى خشت صديره خل لبنان عادي وتزيل الحريسة تامو بلبنان يا هذا ليمنتون إلى البحر خبر قشيثة شغلتو له بجوجل نبلو عائلة توخوها بيار زوردو وبيبي ياني ويما وبابا وخونا وخاثو وكلثو وخماثو لاكو دخا جاي اللقانة إلى very nice day صبرو إلى بعصرتو دا مشوال الإسر وصبرو لمشوال الإسر وخوشابة لمشيثة بغذاء والتشاء قيم بمرأة إلى غير شكل إلى they do the very different ديا غير شكل إلى beautiful so يوخاخ موخخني وشثب بشوا مشت لشوا آخر جان زي أورم إيم ديبة عمر تخن بثخيلات كل قصة خازن كل يوم كم دارو خمشي يشتي ناشل خاثة كل شبثو because كم إيمان زي بالتو بشو آخر فيسبوك مطيلن certain short code or video ده هدنو بألاسكا بلطلا بشكابر مربية البناشة بغزايا so dem شارق بوعد shows هي هذا تنمحكو خموخو محكو تؤمن ويوتيوب كذا كله خميلة كل من يتكوذو خيل ببلاش طلاخو لو لك بلطو خب راديو عادي ايام because لك متيو شت خمشن الدخوة تاما اي شيء تتخليه سريدا اخني اما ناخا إلى تناشديا معكو سورة وإنجليزي وعربي وكل من دي دكدارو خلا لاقة ميثا خواذت كمريمي كتوتو خشوا على يقا شيخانا اللي شيخانا يوم رجعو خلا خيوم بس تويا بروفيشنال So Yukhana Acha Sangita Grewal Ilam Hint, Punjab. We don't know what Punjab is. So we're going to tell us. So Sangita Ilam and here, Sangita, you understand a little Chaldean. Ukpalchem, and she works with us here. So we're going to switch to English because you know Shamama.
I do know
Who's
Shamama.
Shamama? Look in the camera, not me.
Okay.
Shamama's who?
Shamama is
To me.
Najah's mom,
Najah's
Mother.
mom. And how about Michael's
grandmother.
grandmother?
Yeah.
So you saw Shamama today?
No, only Christine, because they were outside.
Oh, they were sitting outside? Oh, with the lady? Oh, because Michael drove the caregiver back home for her. So we met. You come up to, you know my mom, you know Christine, you know my family. And I'm very interested in how culture works in America. Okay? Don't look at me.
Okay.
Pretend you look. You look at the camera, it's me. So
Okay.
I'm
All right.
I'm everywhere. So I thought it'd be interesting to bring you on board here and be part of us. You and I do business together
Right.
in healthcare
Right.
and some more. So you guys remember, what's Sangeeta mean?
It means music.
Allah.
In Hindi?
It
It means music.
Yes. Music?
Yes.
What's Najah mean?
Najah means, what does it mean?
The fruit. Najah, happiness.
Oh, happiness.
When you
Okay.
say, nah, come here, Najah, I know you
Yeah.
made it. You passed the test. You're
Okay.
happy. Sangeeta means music. I never asked you that all this time.
You told me what Najah meant, and I forgot.
But Sangeeta means
Music.
music.
Yeah.
So you were born.
I was born
We have a lot of American followers, but go ahead. Our Chaldeans, all of them speak. You know, Shemama speaks American too, but she pretends she doesn't. You know.
Okay.
Okay.
I was born in Punjab, which is a northern part of India, and it borders Pakistan. And the city where I was born is Sangrur, which is a small little village within Punjab. So yeah. That's
How
where I was
old were
born.
you when you came to America?
I was 8.
You were 8
old.
years old. Yeah. So I was 12. So you came to America, and how did you guys come to America?
My dad.
From India.
Right. My dad. He.
Get closer to the mic. Please.
My
Thank you.
dad, he worked at this hospital called PGI, and a group of his friends decided that they wanted to apply for a visa to visit the United States, and he ended up getting the approval. So he came in 72 and worked for POH Hospital,
POH in Pontiac?
Pontiac Osteopathic
Back
Hospital.
in 72?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, he worked there, and then 73, we came and joined him.
Is
So,
that right?
Yeah, it's my dad who brought us here.
He came as on a visa?
He came, well, you apply for immigration, you come here, and back then it was much easier than it is now. So yeah, he applied for.
Easier?
It was easier back then
So
than now.
we met some Indians. My nephew Bert Kassab and I do a lot of business since the 80s with them, and then friends of the family. They were so lonely in the 80s. There weren't that many Indians here. How did you guys come like that early? I know Indians came. I mean, the Gray Walls Sing development, as you know,
Right.
they remember same village as you.
Right.
You spoke to him. And his grandpa came in 1923 or something like that, his grandpa. Then he started bringing his kid and then his grandkids.
Right.
So Gary is the grandchild of 75 years old now, or one of those, you know.
Right.
How did you guys come so early from the area? What vision your dad had? Because we know as Chaldeans and as Indian, we're still coming, trying to get here.
Right. So are we.
Yeah.
Everybody
Well,
in-
you guys are 1.5 billion
B.
people. We
B.
are 150,000
Yeah.
people. I mean, but we're all the same. I mean, so you guys came here in 73.
3. Right.
Bert
Right.
Kassab downstairs came in 73.
Oh, okay.
Interesting.
Yeah, my dad, he's from this tiny little village in India,
Like us.
like
Turkey or
right,
Baldedo or
right,
Tescopo.
and Lalton Khurd. That's the name of the village, and his brother was in the military, so he used to travel all around, and he got my dad to join him, and they were in England at the time, so my dad got accepted to the University of London, and that's where he got his PhD in microbiology. And from there, he was able to get the job at the PGI at the hospital, and then from there, he brought us here.
Why? First thing, I'm like freaking out how there's 1.5 billion people
Right?
living in one country,
Right.
right? Technically. How come in most friends we have together from India or Chaldeans and Iraq and Lebanon, why so much education? Where did that come from? The British system, or what do you think?
It's always been, education has always been stressed in our culture. When we get married, when marriage is set up, it's the education that gets you so-called the most eligible people. And
It's education.
Education. It's always that's how you progress in life. And those of us who were given the opportunity to get an education, our parents, I mean, there's so many people in India who don't have that opportunity to be educated. But for us, like my family or people like my family, education was really important.
What is the
So-
percentage, Sangeeta,
Of
of 1.5 billion? Here in America, we start catching up with the rest of the world. 80-20. 20% got most of the money. 80% are. We have over 30 million Americans sleep on, homeless in the
Right.
street.
right,
What is the percentage? We always heard of Mother Teresa and India and all that, but behind the scene, you saying there is education, there is wealth, there's
Right.
millions and millions of people are technically, I don't want to say poor, they can barely make a living.
right. I'm not sure the percentage, but I'm sure.
Next show, I'm
considering
going to
it's
have you
1
dig it up. It's
yeah,
important.
I can find out. I'm sorry, but the Indian economy is so much better than it used to be years ago, decades ago.
Education
So
had a lot to do
education
with it.
helped a lot, yeah. And so the people, it's sad, the people who are wealthy, they'll get wealthier, and the people who are homeless will not move forward. But yeah, it's
Is
the
it the
education.
government system or the people, you think? Or is it both?
I think it's both, because there isn't anything in place for the government to really help the homeless people. There are so many
Underprivileged people.
underprivileged people.
Because
and-
anybody can be homeless. You can be a millionaire one day and be homeless.
Homeless, yeah.
Mental's got a lot to do with it, does it?
Yeah.
Over there too, you think?
Oh yeah, it's really I mean, like as soon as you get off the airport and you go out, you see it's a humbling experience to see these people living under cardboard roofs, and then you go a little bit further and then you see these huge houses with gates, and it's such a dichotomy.
You're talking about in
life.
Punjab, India, or here.
Well, New Delhi is where
And
the
New
airport
Delhi is where the big-
that's where
the wealth is from?
well, it's all over.
Yeah.
It's all over India. It's in the southern
So you
areas.
can go to Miami, bad area. They call it
Yeah,
ghetto
yeah.
in English. Or you can turn, make a right, and see a $10 million mansion.
Yeah, yeah. And so I think maybe now people are trying to help the underprivileged in some way, but there are so many people who are not in any position to get an education or to progress in life. So it's just going to stay that way.
So the people are listening to us here. we go to a hospital or we talk to a CPA, the Biden administration and the Trump administration have at least 10 important positions in the White House. The people are from India.
Right.
And I remember some of my Indian friends that you know and I know for the last 30, 40 years, it was hard for them to come as a student to be accepted in these hospitals and these education in areas here, even U of M or Michigan State and Michigan or California or Stanford. There's Indian people from India, and I'm talking Indian people from India, not Indian people from up north or native Indian Americans.
general,
They don't
right.
call them, I don't know how they came up with the Indian word for them. They Native Americans, the original owners of this country. Do they face a lot of prejudice?
Oh yeah, there's
Can you explain that?
they're known as the untouchables, which is to me such a horrible word for that. And they are just
Chill
really
out, chill out, relax. You're just still tight. Chill, relax. There you go. We'll go loose. There we go.
This is my first time.
Don't worry about it. No, not the way you talked to me in a meeting, but go ahead.
So yeah, they're considered the untouchables, and they
Who's that?
the homeless people, the underprivileged. So nobody wants to communicate with them. They're just an ignored, sort of invisible people.
But
that
I
are
asked
there.
you about the prejudice
Yeah, it's there.
of a color you are. A lot of your friends and my friends are of color, like Chaldeans, Lebanese, native, black, but more black's normal here the way they look at it, right? Because they're black. They could be Jamaican, they call them black. They could be
Right.
anything, okay? And these Jamaicans or Africans don't want to be American black. American blacks, they've been here 1,000 years, original.
Right,
But you as an Indian native from India,
right.
have your parents and other people faced prejudice coming up in the 70s and up?
In India or here?
Here,
Oh
America.
yeah. Oh yeah. It was. I mean, I remember when I was in school, when I first came from India. See, the northern people are usually lighter
In India.
in India, and the people from the south are darker, and they're shorter. So, I mean, that's just how it is. It doesn't. It's not anything about the people. It's just objectively that's how they are. That's what the difference is. So when I first came here, even though I was lighter, I was considered lighter in India, but I was darker compared to the people here, and I was really ridiculed a lot because I looked different. I had dark
You didn't
skin.
think when you came as a child that you thought America was like this back then?
No, no. I remember when I lived in India, there were people from different countries who would come to the neighborhood. They would join the school, and we used to just welcome them. And we used to want to learn about their culture and about their country, everything. And we treated them with so much respect and so much we can learn so much about somewhere else that they're from. And so when I was coming here, my friends said, oh my gosh, they're going to treat you the same way. You're going to love it. We're so happy for you. But when I came here, it wasn't anything like that. Everything.
Oh, is that right?
They would make fun of everything. I mean, I had long hair. I had dark skin. I had an accent. And I was still adjusting to how to dress, to fit in. So it was tough. But it's that
You learned something from it? How
yeah.
you treat people now?
Oh yeah, I tell my kids. I mean, my daughter, when somebody new came to the school, she would take them on and she would show them around. And my son, they never bullied, and they're kind people because I told them this is what it feels like when you treat people differently just because they look different. So just embrace different cultures, embrace the difference. And I think we don't do that. I think our culture doesn't invite different, and we
So
make
you-
fun of it.
That's back in the 70s.
Yeah, and I think it's here.
How was
now too.
England when your dad was there? Did he say anything?
Oh, England at that time. I mean, now we have an Indian prime minister.
You believe that? Can
Yeah, I
you
know,
imagine?
I know. And back
So
then,
nothing is impossible.
no, nothing. I mean, the
Wow.
limitations that we put on ourselves are all in our
I don't
minds.
think you notice you guys have an Indian prime minister. We do. But you guys notice that you keep it inside.
Well, it's exciting.
What is it?
The English Prime Minister said Indian.
He's Indian in England.
Yeah, he's
National dish is an Indian dish.
What?
England's national dish is a tikka masala or something.
chicken tikka masala.
Yeah,
Oh, hold on, Michael. What did you just say? Chicken and what?
that's England's national dish.
Well, India belonged to the British till 1949, I thought, maybe 59. They controlled it, right?
They
When-
was
before
under
Gandhi
British
and
rule.
The British rule.
Yeah,
But you guys spoke pure English there too, if you wanted to.
well, English. We had to speak English at that time. I wasn't here, but yeah, we had to. That's why people speak English now. It's become more predominant than it used to be. But in school, I remember when I was in school, if the nuns, I used to go to a Christian school, Catholic school.
Really?
Yeah, and those nuns with the
I
habits.
thought you were Lebanese
scary.
or something.
I could be Lebanese, I could be
Chaldean.
Chaldean, I could be Italian. Not Indian though. When I'm around Indian people, they don't think I'm Indian, so it's funny. But yeah, the nuns, they would have a ruler under their habit, and if they heard you speaking Punjabi or Hindi or anything but English, if they caught you, you had to stick out your hand and they would smack
There
your
or
hand with the
here?
ruler there in India. So we were really pretty much forced to speak English, which was great. It helped.
It's kind of jealous makes me because in Iraq, us Chaldean, the American Chaldean Iraqis, we have most corrupt system on earth in Iraq ever all the time. We had a leader like Saddam Hussein that we thought Bush, both father and son, mixes with this conversation. We thought it was so great that the Bushes were going to attack. We didn't know it was for oil. Our gas went up from $1 a gallon to $5 a gallon, never changed.
Right.
So we keep blaming every president that is here. It was the Bushes. But in India and Iraq, they were still till today, government to government, they're very close. But people, we had, out of 5,000 Chaldeans, example, we had 50 of them marry Indian soldiers or their kids.
Right.
Because India came to the Iraq rescue from way, the British system, I always tell people in English and Chaldean, anyway they want to know, it was a broken system that they came in and they conquered this world,
Right.
separated brother against brother, sister against sister, city against city, country against country, and they went back to England. And the royal, what they call this queen and King Charles, I mean, they're all criminals basically because they break all the rules of the royalty. Royalty is supposed to be fancy, honest, marriage, but they all do everything the wrong way. And they're worth like maybe 100 billion on themselves.
Entitled.
Entitled.
Yeah.
So India lived a lot of similar life they did in Iraq. They never let us birth enough in Iraq. We took off. As the Golo famous Dr. Cato's father, Carl Cato, always tells me, and all the Catos, there's a whole bunch of them at home, he says, I don't know why to Tilkefi from our village, just like your village, when you were talking to Graywall Sink that day on the phone, it was a very small village. What is a very small village to you population-wise?
Oh, my goodness. I mean, back then, 1,000 people.
Well, at one time we
2,000
were
maybe?
7,000. Today
Yeah.
we are about 40 people in the whole village.
Oh.
They chased us all out.
Yeah.
40. Okay.
Wow.
And when we left in 60s, 66, my dad 62 and 60. There were probably 1,500 to 2,000 families. But they never let us along to live our life because of prejudice.
Right.
But we're going to come back because in India there's multiple language. And we have a church, Chaldean church in India. Did you know that?
No, where?
Right here. Our Chaldean church is Church of Syriac Church of Chaldean. We have an archbishop there, headquartered in Thrissur City, Thrissur City, and it's located in. Bill thought it was in northern India, Kerala.
Kerala.
That's
the south.
That's in the south part,
Yeah.
not north. I mean the south, because Dr. Manny Menon was from there when he lived with me on Babylon. He's the world-renowned co-founder of robotic prostate surgery worldwide.
Okay.
He operated Mitterrand, the French president, when he first started. So it was in Kerala. So our bishop here in the United States that leads us visited that church.
Oh.
Because St. Thomas moved from Iraq, from whatever, and went toward India and established a church there.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, it's right here. So I Google and we talk about it because a couple of guys that we sit around, it's Math Miriam Cathedral in, what do you call it, Kerala?
Kerala.
And that's in the south.
Right.
You and Michael could be cousins. Don't know. That's why you're here. We're going to come right back. Thank you.
There's a new player in town. Eagle Casino and Sports. The big time action, real money, mobile casino. It's so easy to play. You can go from wager to winner to wallet. Just like that.
Sign up now and we'll match your deposit up to $1,500 for the casino. Or you can get a risk-free bet up to $1,000 for the sportsbook. Eagle Casino and Sports.
Made in Michigan, made for Michigan.
Your new solution for MRIs. Michigan Diagnostics Center. Our state-of-the-art facility offers open MRI, complimentary transportation, same-day appointments, and next-day reports. Your physician can view your images as soon as they're completed. And we accept all insurances and have affordable rates for uninsured patients. Whether you have a medical condition or an injury, our board-certified radiologists have you covered. We're conveniently located off I-75 and 696. Remember, for an MRI, think MDC.
Duck, duck, goose? Try Duck, duck, Jeep at Saginaw Eagles Landing. That's right. You can be the lucky duck who wins a $60,000 Jeep. Earn entries every Friday and Saturday in August from 12 p.m. to 9 p.m. Then be there for the grand prize drawing on August 26th at 10 p.m. for your chance to win. It's Duck, duck, Jeep. Only at Saginaw Eagles Landing Casino and Hotel. Real fun, real friendly. Visit Saginaw-EaglesLanding.com for complete rules and details.
أسواق قاشات ميديترينيان ماركت أند بيكري. ساحر قاشات وأولاده يقدمون لكم بضاعة شرقية مستوردة يوميا من كافة مستلزمات مطبخ ربة البيت، من المعلبات، الأجبان، الألبان، الشرزات، الترشية، بهارات، فواكه وخضروات فريش يوميا، لحومات طرية منوعة فريش، فروزن فود، ديري فود، أطيب المشويات اللذيذة. مطعم كامل داخل المحل لتلبية طلباتكم وحفلاتكم. صمون ومعجنات حارة يوميا. Carry Out and Catering. المحل واقع على شارع نورث ويسترن هايوي والميل الرابع عشر. تلفون أسواق قاشات 248-538-9552. 248-538-9552. تلفون المطعم 248-538-9558. 248-538-9558. أهلا وسهلا بالجميع.
بدك دعوة بدو ذن القلب ديونة شنشد عصر دقنايا وبفرة اللالد ما فيه قلبنا قوش ديتا نقش ما قلنا بيافي.
Welcome back, أخوات وأخوات of John Zia Oram. يوخموخ أخو بيوتيوب بفيسبوك jzoram.com. بعدين بلطخ منه خنم من دانا إيمور خاتا خا سبسكرايب قرالا سبسكرايب دوشو لاي دقما دقديش يوتيوب عربي وبإنجليزي بسورة. So يوخاخا من سنجيتا Graywall or Grimal, how do they call you? What is your last name? Graywall?
Really?
No, but I thought Gary, they call him Grimal or something.
No, Graywall.
Graywall.
Yeah.
So is Graywall like a community? What is it? Is it like a last name of something?
It's a last name, yeah.
Is it like a Shira, like a tribe or something?
No, it's just Graywall is very...
George is Zoma. He's not Graywall. He's George Zoma.
Right.
Oh, you're Graywall? Okay.
He is today.
Oh, he is?
Graywall is a very, Punjab is known for the Sikhs, S-I-K-H, Sikhs.
Sikh.
Yeah. So Graywall is a very
So
typical
Sikh is the
Sikh
turban,
name. Yeah,
right? People
Sikhs.
put on turban.
Right.
How come you don't have your turban?
Because I'm a
Americanized?
girly girl. Women usually don't wear a turban, but we're supposed to cover our heads, be really simple.
Oh, you are?
Yeah.
Well, the Sikh, I know. I ain't seen no woman cover. The changes in America?
No. Yeah. we're in
You're
the
supposed to
United
cover your
States.
head like a hijab?
No, just like
Oh,
loose.
with that thing over your head.
Yeah, it can be multicolors.
So now you
But
left
this
there.
This is Sikh women, like
Sikh woman. There's
Sikh
a whole.
religion.
And how many religions and language there's in India?
Oh, we were just looking that up, like 13,000 plus language or dialects.
We had Arabic and Chaldean, and we thought it was too much.
No, like if you go,
Wow.
an example, if you go from the north to the south, the people from the north will not be able to understand the people from the south. It just changes completely.
Are they all from India?
Yeah,
or are they
they're
from
all-
different? I mean,
No,
you
they're
had
all
over
Indian.
there. You had Pakistan, and you had Bangladesh, and you had all these countries,
Well,
right?
I'm just talking about India. So
I know, but they all from India.
Yeah, these are all people from India.
So Dr. Jane told me Gujarat or Punjab, or one of them was
Mm-hmm.
split up with Pakistan, and they call it Lahore. Where's that? at?
Lahore? No, that's part of Pakistan. Like in the 80s, I think it was the 80s, where Pakistan or Punjab wanted to be its own country, Khalistan, and
When you
that
saw
didn't
the
happen.
radical, like when they took over the Taj Mahal and all
No,
that?
that was something else.
Oh,
That
okay.
was, no. What I'm talking about is they wanted to fight to make Khalistan their own country, and
Texas tried to do that here. Did you know that?
they wanted to be.
They still do. Texas wanted to have their own country. That's why when you talk to a Texian,
Yeah.
he think he's America because he think he's the only one that exists. Other states don't. Seriously speaking.
Well, if Khalistan became its own country, or Punjab, Pakistan would have been really happy about that because they would have taken over Punjab. But right now, because Punjab is part of India, they're safe because Pakistan would have to fight.
So now your
India.
family came and you came because I don't want to run out of time. And you came to America.
Correct.
And what happened there? How did you guys? Who were you? How did you get here? And what? And how, because we want to learn from other cultures while we sit at home, and while our kids are watching, instead of hearing about it. Right? I had all kind of different people here. So now you came here.
Right.
Your family, and you went to school. And what did your mom do for a living?
My mom used to work for the unemployment department of the state of Michigan. She used to.
Another professional business.
Right.
See,
she
we
used
came
to
here
be-
around liquor stores. So that's all we knew.
If we could, we would.
Well, a lot of Indians are buying our liquor stores
Yeah.
now. The new Indians.
But yeah, my mom went to school and she got a degree, and she worked for the state of Michigan. She used to write programs for the unemployment
Wow.
division.
And your dad's was doctor.
My dad, he wasn't a medical doctor. He was a microbiologist,
What
PhD.
does that mean?
He used to, like, in the lab, like, say...
Wow, like a scientist? Or something?
So if you had blood work or different kind, he was the one who was the lab director. And so that's what he did. And
where did you guys move to when you came here?
We moved to Pontiac, which was so different than it is now.
Not like 7 and Woodward?
Yeah.
We moved to 7 and Woodward.
Back then?
Yeah.
It was so different, right?
We lived, it was.
It
but
was
we lived
nicer.
basically in the street. There was small houses, nicer.
Yeah, it was so different.
I kind of love the community when you see it today.
It was beautiful back then. And it was safe, you could go out, neighbors would talk to each other. It was so different, so nice. And so from there, my parents bought a house in Waterford, and that's where...
So you're stuck in that north in Oakland County, huh?
Right.
Well,
right.
It took us 40 years to get Oakland County from 7 Mile.
Oh, really?
We call it We Follow the Jews.
Yeah.
The Jews started on West Chicago, Boston Boulevard, and Lodge, and that's where we started our church.
Mm-hmm.
We figure if there's any prejudice, because I never met an Indian the last 20 years, example.
Right.
If there anybody be prejudiced or racist against anything, could be against the Jewish people because they be successful, they worked hard, they get, all kind of problem back in Europe. So whatever they moved, we waited out. Don't ask me how. We didn't draw it. We didn't plan it. We would follow them. So they moved from Boston Boulevard, West Chicago, Lodge, Hamilton, and that area. Then they moved to Oak Park. So 5 years later, we moved to Oak Park. We either were having a lot of business relationship with them or the real estate or the lawyers or whatever.
Right.
Then when they moved from there, they moved to Southfield. So I'm talking about literally my family and hundreds of other Chaldean families.
Right.
Then after they were done there, we looked around and says, let me see, where's the racism and prejudice? And because we faced it a lot.
Right.
So I feel for people of colors and the white people. It doesn't matter. It's just racist is cancer. Okay, I hate to say the word. So then we look where they're moving. We didn't see them go toward Livonia. We didn't see them go toward Farmington. I see they were on the edge of Farmington Hills, skip over 14 miles to West Bloomfield.
Right.
Not Bloomfield, to West Bloomfield. And that kind of concentrated there. At the meantime, while we were doing that, the new refugees and new immigrants came. Well, they couldn't afford the west of Woodward property. They went east. So they didn't know where the racist prejudice was. They wind up in Sterling Heights. And that's why it's multitask of ethnic people there. But the racism and prejudice still exists. So now I joke with my Jewish friends, since 6 council people on West Bloomfield are Jewish and 1 Chaldean, that where we go now, they say we don't know. Because now you run into Lakes, Milford, Wixom.
Right.
Like there's no Jewish people in Wixom. There's Chaldeans, there's Indians in Novi. Some of us move.
Big community.
Big community. They won't move. So all along, we built up this beautiful love, friendship, and brotherhood with Sync Development, with Gary, you talked to, and others.
Yeah.
And we see where they were building houses, and they stuck around their little Novi, Bloomfield, West Bloomfield, Auburn Hills, Rochester. But they didn't go too far east and too far west. So you guys stayed in Oakland County constantly.
Yeah, we did. When we were in Waterford, my parents looked around to see what was the best school system, and they found out that Bloomfield was it, Andover High School. So we ended up moving to Bloomfield.
To grow like that.
Right.
Those Indian people you speak personally socialize a lot with a lot of other Indians? Because Chaldeans, we're still a small community and we're still very fresh here, but we came here way before you guys got here. But you outnumbered us in a way in population and education thing, because we were really being discriminated as Christian. The government of Iraq was a piece of garbage, and they still are. And they never allowed us to go to the next level. Mind you, my dad had his first vehicle, and my uncle's 1930s. But they had to, because, they're feet to make a living, or they have to bribe them constantly.
Right.
They call it bakshish. How does the Indian population, when they get together, is it, like you say, how many? 14 different provinces? How many are there? How many different languages they say they speak?
Like 13,000 plus.
13 or
dialect.
13,000 dialects.
Dialects.
Well, we have two, and we fight. So that's
I think it depends. If you're new to this country, then yeah.
So if you had a choice, since you are live in a free country, here in India, I heard this most westernized country.
Right.
Technically, freedom-wise, in India and the part of the world, they speak about it. If you have a choice, you and your children, to move back, we can't go. We're the only people on Earth, not just America, can never go back to where we wanted to live, back to home.
Yeah.
I can never go back, no matter if I have $1 or $1 trillion, to live where I had to live because of the discrimination by the government of the Iraq or the other Middle Eastern countries. If you had a chance to go back and live, American wealthy person, will you stay here or go back
I would
home?
stay here. I would never go back to India because I did go back to India, and it's tough going there. It's just always, you just have to fight for everything. It's not the place, I think, anymore. We've adjusted too much to the United States, and we would definitely be out of place living there. So I would never go back.
Next show, we're going to talk some more. Thank you, Sangeeta.
Yeah,
that
thank
was
you.
Good, right? Huh?
Save that for the next show.
Not really. We don't have time? No, we're going to talk about it right now. Run me a video. So, أخواتي وأخوات الثلين نخبار العراق حبايات تتناخى problem opiate كذا تختو حبايات دي لابشتاي يا لزور بنون مناثو دروبالا لجاني أكسيكاتين فوليوم أن من دانه so كاميرا ده بعراق مصين وبشاينا مشادور حبايات عراق ولا بخوخي من مدانة عارض كبار بقاوة ناخو Southfield, Bloomfield, West Bloomfield, إيك تعيشوا يالن يا تخني وبغزايا قامن. So زي ما لك short video ده gonna show a short video of what's going on in Iraq. It's like a 3-minute long.
Now to Iraq. With all the calamities and the difficulties that a post-war nation has, now Iraq is fighting a drug-devious menace. We are speaking about the West Asian drug, Captagon. It has now taken thousands of people who live in Iraq as victims, and the government is cracking down by relocating traffickers and trying to help those addicted. Take a look.
If you are from West Asia, then there might be a time when you would have come across these white pills. They look like regular doses of medicine, but they're not. This is Captagon, a drug that has seemingly destroyed a whole generation of men in Iraq. Captagon is banned across the world, but it continues to be mass-produced and consumed in West Asia. In oil-rich Iraq, the drug has become a lifeline for many, as they struggle to keep up with unemployment, or worse, job pressure. The 23-year-old Mohammed has been addicted to Captagon since he was just 16. He first started consuming them for the energy boost to help keep up with work. But now it's been a 7-year-long cycle of abuse that he is trying to end.
Captagon leads to either prison or death. It humiliated me and many other young men along with me. You saw yourself its impact on the youth here. It can only lead to prison or death. We don't wish to harm ourselves or end up in jail. Instead, we yearn to return to a normal life and live like everyone else.
And he isn't the only one. Countless young Iraqi men like Mohammed take these pills, and their habits are supported by militia-backed cartels in the country.
Individuals here are mostly young people, belonging to the age group of 15 to 40 years old, including 3 juvenile patients. The most used drug is crystal meth, which is a plague. It destroys people, leading to their full devastation.
The Iraqi regime has made frail efforts to curtail the problem. They have made big statements on the public forum, but reality is the opposite. Prisons are full to 4 times their capacity, while authorities scramble to help with de-addiction. A severe lack of infrastructure is another problem in the fight against drugs, with barely any recovery centers to help addicts back to their feet. The youth in Iraq stands at the cusp of impending doom. The social and economic conditions are deteriorating, and unfortunately, drug abuse has been inversely proportional to the crisis. The addiction only continues to increase in the otherwise conservative Islamic nation.
There's a new player in town. Eagle Casino and Sports. The big time action, real money, mobile casino. It's so easy to play. You can go from wager to winner to wallet. Just like that.
Sign up now and we'll match your deposit up to $1,500 for the casino. Or you can get a risk-free bet up to $1,000 for the sportsbook. Eagle Casino and Sports.
Made in Michigan, made for Michigan.
Introducing your new solution for MRIs, Michigan Diagnostic Center. Our state-of-the-art facility offers open MRI, complimentary transportation, same-day appointments, and next-day reports. Your physician can view your images as soon as they're completed. And we accept all insurances and have affordable rates for uninsured patients. Whether you have a medical condition or an injury, our board-certified radiologists have you covered. We're conveniently located off I-75 and 696. Remember, for an MRI, think MDC.
The Tribute to Summer Concert Series brings you incredible entertainment for free at Saguenay Eagles Landing. Experience the timeless music of Bob Seger. Be there with your own chair for Forever Seger on August 17th at 7 p.m. Plus, guests 18 and older receive $10 premium play. It's the Tribute to Summer Concert Series, only at Saguenay Eagles Landing Casino and Hotel. Real fun, real friendly. Visit saguenay-eagleslanding.com for complete details.
Welcome back أخوات وأخوات بجان زي أورم البخلاصة وقت دي ناخو ترشابا هوب تاولن شو سيان لا ريان لاي criminal كالدايا بس إن بطرك تنمحكو خدث من دي هذا مير خونا فاروق عبرو بدانا عاري لا ببرايا بقاون بس ده دريلا نثفلم طلوخو من ببرايا بث corruption التامو fentanyl opiate حبايات كان كلها حبس إلى مليون ناشي young people دي يعني كزيليك ولا حرب ولا هذا ذا ثيلاني بس حكومة إلى كروكد كبعد خاصيلة أخني سراي دي كله ومرقيلا بس بشوق لبيذ دلها كمري بس يثين دلها ويثين politician بأمريكا أخا senator or congressman تدارا pressure لي at least saying the Patrick or the future Patrick زيا ثيلان تتبلخي عدل تدني قمايا وديثن تامو مطراني ديا خخونا باسلياس يلدو كلي وخاشو شماشو ناشديا overall نمشارع بغداد تبدسقي والشمال بدو ذي فرطنا. So thank you Sangita for being on John's Zia Oram first show. Hope it'll be longer. And we appreciate you. إلى بشت لشوا وخموخو تخولا تشانا غزولا نيديو صبرو. Have a very safe and beautiful weekend. And God bless you. Thank you, Michael Oram. Love you, Shamama. You know my Shamama, right?
Yes.
I used to sit next to her.
Hello, Shamama.
Hello, Shamama. Hello, Christine, Wachlas, her caregiver. They're all good.
Hi, Christine.
Thank you. Now you're going to be, and get better. Brother, I mean, Najib with the knee surgery, he's going to get better and come back. We just say hi to Sue. She's watching.
Oh, hi, Sue.
What's her Chaldean name?
What is it?
Soham.
Oh, Soham. See, I just know Sue.
Oh, you don't know her as Soham?
No, I'll learn all that.
Soham is, they used to call me a favorite child of Shamama, but Soham took over.
Oh.
Because she got nothing else to do. She sits there.
She's wonderful. I can see that.
Soham there. All are. Thank you and good night.